This is a video posted by End Wokeness of the Los Angeles Fire Department Assistant Chief Kristen Larson. Check this out. Your blood will boil.
You want to see somebody that responds to your house, your emergency, whether it's a medical call or a fire call, that looks like you. It gives that person a little bit more ease, knowing that somebody might understand their situation better. Is she strong enough to do this? Or you couldn't carry my husband out of a fire, which my response is, he got himself in the wrong place if I have to carry him out of a fire.
Unreal.
Literally, their job is to help rescue people out of
This
fires.
is the ideology
Only about
of these
5%
leftists.
of working firefighters are women. That might be 5% too many.
Unbelievable.
I mean, 5% makes sense.
It should be a small number. And
Yeah,
it's
because-
weird that it's like that 4 women are heading the entire department.
Look,
I mean, I'm not, I'm not a sexist over here, but it's a little weird.
I've been to many countries. Okay, let me tell you. I went to Thailand, and it was Chinese New Year. We went to a market district. It was a long street with beautiful decorations, and there were thousands of people. And you know what I noticed? I could see over all of their heads. Standing there, all of the Thai people were, on average, substantially shorter, and I could see, I was like, wow, this is crazy. Later in life, I went to Sweden, and I was a very
Totally
tiny person.
different experience.
So if you want to get like some large Nordic Viking woman on the fire department, I'm totally for it, right? A woman opens a door and she's ripped 6 foot tall and she picks me up. I'm like, save me.
Thank you, Hilda.
It's totally fine.
For sure.
But this means in reality, it's going to be about 5% of women.
Or less. I mean,
Or less.
Yeah, or less. So this is crazy that they don't put saving lives. That's the mission of any fire.
Well, also
You got yourself in the wrong place, you know, if we have to
Right.
save you.
But the current LA fire chief also coming into office talked about how she was super inspired by creating more opportunities for diversity on the force, and that was her big thing, and that it was super important also that she was a member of the LGBTQ community, and she wanted to bring in more gay firefighters because apparently who you're sleeping with makes a really big difference on whether or not you can do this job.
And the problem is this woke mind virus, we'll call it, is going everywhere. It's in our military. I mean, you're seeing this.
It's in your bathroom.
It's not in my bathroom. It's definitely not in my bathroom, nor any other bathroom on the hill on the house side, at least anyway. We got that done, and I hope to ban it everywhere across the country. But they're talking about doing this to airlines too.
They pulled the Title IX updates. The federal judge said that, throughout the Title IX updates, so that was pretty good. The Biden administration.
That was a good development today,
pulled the proposed changes to sports under Title IX.
The court
and
said
you guys have 18 months to get this out of everything and get our country back on track.
What's the Title IX thing you're talking about?
So Title IX, the Biden administration's Department of Education changed Title IX of the Civil Rights Act, which was basically created to have equal funding for women's academics and athletics in schools.
It would allow men to participate in women's sports, allow men in locker rooms.
Girls. But there were 2 separate things. They just blanket made the regulations that any school that receives federal funding has to allow men in women's bathrooms, locker rooms, what have you. But there was so much public pushback and outcry about their regulation requiring those schools to allow men to play in women's sports that they didn't put that as part of their regulation and made a proposed second thing for that they were planning to push through. They were unable to ever push that one through. So that was withdrawn, and now a federal judge threw out the bathroom.
This is government forced sexual abuse as far as I'm concerned. If you're forcing Riley Gaines to undress in front of LeBron James in the locker room, that is sexual abuse. And that's what they were trying to do, Biden and Harris.
It's worse than that. These individuals, many of them, are admittedly fetishists.
Yes.
Without getting
Leah
too
Thomas was a fetishist.
Yeah, without getting too graphic, because
what is it called? Autogynephilia.
Autogynephilia.
Yes, I just learned that term about a month ago.
So if it's LeBron and Riley, we understand what's like, hey man, people are going to be uncomfortable. Like LeBron probably is going to be uncomfortable and being like, look, let's keep it professional here. He's a professional guy. But these individuals, many of them, there was a viral tweet from, I think it was Brianna Wu, mentioning that trans people get heavily involved in
Brianna Wu's with the Free Press now, I think.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, a lot of trans people are involved in sex work because they eroticize this. That
it's a fetish. It's a
fetish.
Sexual
It's an objectification.
So when
it's an arousal for them.
When you put a woman in a locker room and a guy is getting off on it, that's substantially worse than just having like a unisex dressing room.
Right. That is worse.
No, that is 100%. And I'm going to Sarah McBride's district tomorrow night. I'm going to go give a speech. dresses like a woman. And he's been, the media fawned all over him. He made his political career taking selfies in the women's bathroom, bragging about how he's a woman now and should invade our private spaces. And it's sexual abuse, in my opinion. And it's a mental health disorder. If they want to use the bathroom, go find a mental institute and go there.
That is the correct academic term, in fact, mental health disorder. And there was an interesting controversy where trans activists wanted to get gender dysphoria removed from what's called the DSM-5. And then prominent liberal activists immediately came out and said, stop. If this is no longer classified as a mental disorder, you cannot get prescriptions for it.
That's right.
So
Big Pharma couldn't allow that, right?
think
Big
that-
Pharma's making a lot of money off
Do you guys
this.
think that the people of Delaware should not have been permitted to elect Sarah McBride to Congress?
It's up to the voters. It's First Amendment. It's a vote. It's up to the voters to decide who to elect, but he doesn't have the right to invade my spaces.
I got to be honest,
as a woman.
I don't think the voters in Delaware knew that Sarah McBride was a man.
Really?
Yeah. When you watch the McBride commercials, it's just Sarah McBride. And
You know, Sarah McBride, when first coming out, was I think 2012, and Joe Biden was one of the first people to congratulate McBride because McBride was an intern in the Obama administration.
That's crazy. Well, we have a all-female like locker room up at the Hill where members can work out and change. And I was there this week, and I was thinking to myself, my God, if we had allowed this to happen, he would be in here right now as I'm getting dressed and changing. And it's just the government forcing this on us, and they're totally okay with it. I mean, my next thing is to make sure that we enforce it. How do we ensure that this is enforced and we protect women and girls everywhere? But I will be in Delaware tomorrow night. I would be in Delaware tomorrow night, letting all of Delaware know this woman is a man and should not be celebrated for his sexual fantasies and his mental illness.
How would you propose
diversity?
real quick, we just played that diversity firefighter clip. I want to actually finish the clip because there's something really important that's said in it that pertains to this conversation.
Needs and works to provide what they require to succeed.
So real quick, just the context again is this is a firefighter diversity, equity, inclusion educational video.
In practice, equity means addressing systemic barriers and providing personalized tools and resources to help each individual thrive. Whether it's hiring practices or access to training and development, equity creates an environment where everyone can grow and achieve success. Inclusion, the ultimate goal, is about creating a culture where every team member feels valued, respected, and supported. It's not just about being part of the team. It's about belonging. Inclusion ensures that diverse voices are heard, respected, and considered in decision-making. It fosters an environment where individuals can be their authentic selves without...
That was it right there. That's the point.
It fosters an environment where individuals can be their authentic selves without fear of exclusion or discrimination. Together, diversity...
Literally discrimination.
Your
DEI is
authentic
discrimination.
selves.
You should never go out into the world expecting to be your authentic self and nobody's going to mess with you. You should never expect that.
It's a strange
Like your authentic
world.
self is, for yourself and your family.
Look,
and,
everybody
With
should
no
have
clothes
their
on.
authentic
House
self at home.
Sure.
That's where you can be
Or
your
with your
authentic self.
friends,
That's
or
where
what
you
have
can
you,
fart if you want.
But,
That's
like,
where you can
you
have
don't
bad breath.
expect
That's
to-
where you can have halitosis. That's
you
where
don't
you can
expect to
pick
go
your
to
nose.
work and be your authentic self.
Yeah.
Like your boss doesn't want that.
This
Your boss
is-
wants you to do a job.
Don't give me that authentic self stuff. Everybody has a forward-facing face that they put on when they go out in public.
A T-shirt.
And it's because that's how society works, right? The idea
It's
that
the
you
civil
can
religion.
just
You're
that
supposed
you
to
can
go
just
out there and be part of life with everyone else.
Just the idea that you can just go and walk around being your authentic self, no matter how other people are, how it affects other people, is absolutely ridiculous. It is a total innovation. It's only been something that people talk about in the past 5-10 years, 10-15 years or so. No, don't be your authentic self, because your authentic self is disgusting.
You can take your authentic self to Canada.
Yeah,
If
I mean,
you-
somewhere else.
Aspects
take
of
it to
yourself,
Canada.
obviously, you want to let open up and become a more real human. But like nudity, the authentic self argument is a slope to nudity and nudists, and people being like, I don't need to wear clothes. I'm
that's
being
just-
my honest self.
That's being light about it. Your authentic self, okay. I want to hear what Antifa has to say when a bunch of white supremacists want to be their authentic selves marching around in public.
Yeah,
They don't want
ridiculous.
it. What they're advocating for is that they get to do whatever they want, whenever they want, with no consequences.
I thought that when they were talking about equity too, they said it's a opportunity to, it's right to use your personal I don't know how she phrased
equity?
it. Your personal efforts to provide equity, but then they're
Equity?
using public funds to do it. That's not their personal.
Equity
If you
means-
want to provide equity for people, if I want to make an environment where we all have an opportunity, okay, but if I'm going to use public funds to do it, you got a big problem.
Equity is not equality. Equity means everybody has the same outcomes. So what they're saying is everybody's all the same. There's no one that's better at anything or worse at anything. And when you take that idea and you apply it to a job like police officer or fireman, you end up with dead people.
I got an idea. We are going to put on a music show, rock concert. And of course, because we believe in diversity, equity, and inclusion, I would like to make sure we're inclusive of all different ideas. Libby, why don't you tell us how you think the rock concert should be put off? And we'll ignore Phil's opinion as a platinum rock star because he's a white man.
That's great. I think that we should have a tap routine and we should do some musical numbers.
We should also get some.
I personally would like to sing an aria, even though I have never sung opera before.
Let's get some
The
architects
white
in there
man
to sing
sticking his
also.
nose right in,
I
trying
think
to talk over
definitely
Libby.
architect.
Yeah, but he's
I think that's a great
neurodivergent.
idea.
Yeah, we got to make sure that we get stonemasons in there to sing, especially the ones that have never had a chance to sing before. We got to make sure everyone gets a chance to sing at this concert. No, you want the best. That's why you do it.
I saw a video where someone was actually arguing, it was a black woman, that DEI means that when they're practicing medicine, their tribal holistic practices should be considered the same as medical doctors.
I've seen this.
Alternative way. It's called alternative ways of knowing. They say alternative forms of knowledge, alternative ways of
What is
knowing.
alternative forms of knowledge?
Alternative
is-
facts.
It's a purely relativist perspective.
It is-
What does that mean?
Yeah,
where
it's
everything
In the
is
medical
relativist.
community, in
equivalent.
the scientific community, what does that mean?
So it's relativist. Louis right. It is relativist. Oftentimes they'll look at traditional medicine. So they're talking about things like Native Americans or whatever they call it, First Nations or whatever the
is
correct.
that what we call it now? First
Apparently,
Nations?
yeah, that's what they call it in Canada.
That's
So,
Canadian,
I've
but
never heard that before. First
Justin
Nation.
Trudeau says it a lot.
Okay.
But
I don't listen.
But
I don't listen to that guy.
Look, essentially, it boils down to they're talking about witch doctors. Okay, they're like these ways of knowing have been passed down for generation and generation through tribal peoples and stuff, and it's something that we should accept into our lexicon, and it's something that we should acknowledge. I reject that entirely. I completely and totally only want verifiable scientific evidence, things that are repeatable in a controlled test.
But this house, we believe in science.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the scientific method is flawed. It says if you can't reproduce it, then it doesn't exist. And they'll be like, if you can't, but there are miracles. Like things happen once, and you're like, whoa, how did that happen? I still can't figure it out.
That's alternative ways of knowing. And you can believe that, that's fine. But when it comes to like applying it to everybody, you can't say, well, this one time there was a miracle, so we're going to say everybody should do this.
For instance, Reiki, healing hands, like that's over time, over history has been, people have said, yes, there are healers.
I
don't think you should exclude it.
I had
but I
Reiki
don't
healing
think,
one time. It was really.
I think you
cool.
should absolutely exclude
I would
it.
absolutely.
From
I
like
wouldn't put
insurance and
it. I
stuff?
wouldn't put it in
Yes,
insurance
absolutely.
or
But what if it
medical
works?
stuff, but it helped.
Prove it.
I thought
That's
it
it.
was
How do you
cool one
prove-
time.
You do it. You heal
do it
somebody.
over and over and over.
Like
and if you
anecdotally?
can't if
No,
you
not
can't repeat
anecdotally.
it-
Like
Listen.
you have to be able to run a control experiment, and
Right.
you have to determine through that process that it's actually effective every single time. Like Advil.
I was reading about how people used to drink mercury to cure syphilis. It didn't.
Oh my gosh!
didn't
why
work,
were, okay,
right?
why were we reading this? Why were we?
Oh, I read a lot.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
read
read tons of stuff.
everything.
Well, so antibiotics is fascinating to me, especially around the conversation that antibiotic-resistant strains are emerging,
Yep.
and we may have to
Yep.
move on to something different.
Yeah.
And so something came up on the show. We were talking about people drinking mercury to cure syphilis. It didn't actually do it. What happens is syphilis goes dormant, and so people thought they were getting better.
And
Now
they were
imagine-
spreading syphilis.
Oh yeah. Imagine. Well,
And
actually, if
making
it's-
themselves crazy. They were making themselves
Right, they were
literally
poisoning
mad
themselves.
as hatters. Yeah.
So imagine what would happen if you went back 500 years with antibiotics and said, take this, trust me, it works. Like, people have no idea. They would take it and feel better, and they would assume it's true. Over a long enough period of time, we now know, because you get a bacterial infection. Or actually, did you guys see that show? It was like 1897 or whatever it was called, the Taylor Sheridan show. Was that what it was called, 1897? I probably got the year wrong. Serge on that microphone.
That was popular for a minute.
Well, it was a miniseries. But the story ends when the chick gets shot with an arrow, and the Native Americans would dip the arrowheads in crap to make it infectious.
that in Vietnam
Oh,
too.
that's right. That's
and
right.
then they're like, she's going to get an infection and die. And it's like, wow, that's pretty wild, because today you go to the doctor and some like fat nurse would like roll in her chair, open a drawer and grab a bottle of pills and be like, you'll live. And it's just there and available for us. I don't want to go to a world where they're like, let's dance around in a circle and throw rose petals in the air until the demons go
Some
away.
of it's just diet. Like the diet is the alternative medicine. Is like, hey, fix your
That's
diet.
fair.
Yeah, I agree. And I'd like to get insured for like healthy eating.
Well,
I'm not going- I'm not changing-
truly, because that's what's making us sick.
I feel
If
like
you
we
read
should
the
not need as
label,
much insurance.
RFK Jr. fan right here. If you read the label on your food, it's making us sick, making us fatter, more cancer, more illness.
I agree
more
completely.
expensive healthcare.
But Ian, I'm not gonna like change my diet for a broken arm. Okay, like there are no.
There's foods that'll reduce inflammation and stuff.
No.
hold on.
I reject.
Joint?
Wait. Phil, I got to stop you. You probably don't need to change your diet because you have a good one. But if there's somebody who is eating ho-hos and ding-dongs as their principal meal every day and they go to
They're
the
gonna get
doctor,
sick.
the doctor's going to say, look, your arm's not going to heal unless you're eating real food. You got to stop eating the ho-hos and the ding-dongs.
Yeah, inflammation. Sugar will cause inflammation.
Ian,
So
a broken bone is not just inflammation. A
No, not
broken
just
bone
inflammation.
is broken bone.
you want to regrow the bone. You want like
You need calcium.
phosphorus and calcium,
You
zinc.
need a cast. You need the bone to be set, and you need a cast. Is what you need.
Right.
100%.
Okay.
But it heals
still
from
have
the inside.
inflammation. You still have
There's
inflammation.
still
You
a
break
fair
bone.
point that if you're eating a bad diet, you're not going to heal
You
properly.
guys are all too kind.
Thanks for checking out this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to watch the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Subscribe to this channel, and we will see you all there.